Hello my friends, my name's Gene and thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Regular Guy Mountain Biking. A little while back I was sent this little mini electric pump. It's called the CYCPlus, and I did a product review on it. You can find the link, it's above my head someplace, and you can learn all about it. It's a cool little mini battery powered pump. I basically like it so much that it lives inside of my my little short trip bag, right? It's pretty cool. And I just leave it there. Okay, again, you can learn all about the specs about it. Again, above my head, you got a link. But this is where it's pretty much stayed. And it stayed in here because this is just a quick little short trip type of bag. And it's a great pump for that. There are some things it doesn't do that keep it from getting into the day bag, which I'm going to talk about in a few moments. But again, great little pump, and it stays inside the little bitty bag. Now moving forward a little bit, I got two new little mini pumps sent to me. This is the CYCPlus Pro, and this is the CYCPlus Pro Max. Now these two little bad boys pretty much pick up from where that other little pump I showed you left off, okay? These have the features that pump is missing. They're pretty cool. And what we're going to do now is do a review on these pumps. Not really going to compare it too much to that pump because honestly, I think the CYCPlus Pro is going to replace that one. It's just my opinion. So let me go talk about these pumps and why these are so good and why this particular one pretty much has now become a standard in my day bag. It's always there. I use this all the time. So let's just jump right into things over here. The big features that these two pumps have over the original one that I showed you earlier is the display. The original pump just has one little button. There's no indicator of any pressure whatsoever. The single button will light up with different colors depending on the charge level, and you use that to turn it on, turn it off, and do the job. The problem with that is, again, you have no idea what the pressure is. So you have to use the pump, and then, kind of do the feel test. Oh, I think that's right. Take the thing off, use your pressure gauge. I'm a couple PSI too low. You go and put the pump back on, blah, 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 so on and so forth, rinse and repeat. It's not the end of the world. I'm probably making it sound a little bit more of a big issue than it really is. But still, it would be nice if there was a display like here. These two little dudes have a display. Again, CYCPlus Pro, CYCPlus Pro Max. The difference between these two pumps, simply just size, battery power, things like that. That's all. Functional, they're identical, and I'm going to go through the features in just a minute. So let me go through the display. Let me show you why it's so cool. We'll go through just, again, a little bit more detail on the difference between the two. Not too much. All that's on the website. You can kind of get the idea. This is a bigger pump. This is a smaller pump. It's not rocket science. I also want to show you how the pump works filling up a tire, because it does such a good job, and you will finally know why this dude fits in my bag and stays in my bag all the time. So let's talk about the features real quick. This again, CYCPlus Pro Max. The screen's also a little bit bigger on this one, so we're just going to work with this one. But again, identical functionality between the Pro Max and the Pro. So the first thing that happens is you hit, there are three buttons over here, display, three buttons, and before I forget, also a USB-C jack for charging. This is where the pump goes on the tire. You'll see it in how I'm actually using it. And there's also a couple adapters you can use on this to do different things, even a nozzle to make it easier to use. I don't really use that ever, but some cool little accessories. But let's get to the display. That's what makes this thing so sweet. So the top button turns it on. Now, when you turn it on, the first thing you see, gotta hold it for a second, is the PSI starts blinking. Okay, I'll get some close-ups of this. So you'll see the PSI. This was set on 20. It was blinking. It was blinking because it was in edit mode, if you will. That's where the two bottom buttons kick in. You could then kick up or drop down the PSI. So it's the PSI that the pump is set at and ready to put into your tire. So you turn it on, it starts blinking. You also can see that it says PSI. It does bar, right? It does the other different pressure gauges, measurements, whatever, you know, but PSI, that's the way to go, man. All right, and then there's a battery level. There's 3 bars to tell you how much juice is inside the little mini pump. So right now it's on 0. Now if I go and I hit the top or down button, 20 will start blinking again because that's what I have it set at. And I can now move it up or down. Right now I have it set at 15. I can move it back up and move it up to 20. Okay, and it's setting the pressure that this pump is ready to put into a tire. And if I hold the top button down, it's off. Now it's saved that pressure. When I hold the button back in, blinking 20 again. Okay, so now this is ready to fill up a tire with 20 psi. It's going to be a little loud here for a second. I'm going to touch the top button, and it's going to turn the pump on. Okay, it was working. At that point, you would then have this attached to a tire or a soccer ball or whatever, but we're worried about mountain biking over here. You would attach this to the tire and the valve on your tire, and it would start to inflate. And then obviously it would stop at 20 psi. Now, I'm going to actually use it and show you how cool it is, because knowing that you have it set at a particular psi and using it just makes it awesome. Let me show you. All right, so let's go do a little bit of a demo right now. This is a 29 2.5 inch tire. One of the features this has is when you attach it to the tire, it'll automatically tell you how much pressure, like PSI, if you use PSI, is actually in it. So this is, you know, it's pretty flat, right? You're not going to go riding on that. There's no insert in it or anything like that. So I'm going to turn it on, hold the button in. Okay, it's blinking now 20 because I have it set to 20 psi. I'll wait for it to go to 0. It's on 0. Now when I attach this onto here, all right, that now says 3, 4 psi. So not only is it set to 20 to fill up to 20 psi, it's also going to tell you how much pressure is in your tire before you even get started. So now we're going to go and actually fill the tire up to the 20 psi. Now what I'm doing is I'm holding the tire and putting the valve in an awkward position so that I cannot see the display, okay? So that's what's kind of cool about this. If I hold it down, right, I'll turn it back on again. 20 psi, blinking, blinking, okay? So I know how much pressure it's going to put in. Now I am going to take this and just pop it like that, and there you go. That's 20 psi. I didn't even have to look. So we went from 3 to 4 psi to 20 psi. That didn't take all that long, and I didn't have to look. Now, again, the not looking part is only important if, depending on where the tire is set up in the valve, you could always spin the tire. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate this whole thing, but it's cool. You don't have to look. You just do it. Now, what's the real huge benefit of this? Because I'm also going to tell you, this is not a cheap pump. These are not inexpensive pumps, all right? So, Joe, this is you, all right? We both got flats, both got pinch flats. It was a muggy, hot, crappy, buggy day. So, bad enough we got flats. So I go, right, and I take out my little pump, and I'm like, Joe's over there sweating, swatting on flies, right? And I'm like, no problem at all, right? At that point, it was sold, right? At that point, it's like, okay, it's a little expensive. Alex then later on went and bought one because he's like, I'm not gonna deal with this. He has the smaller one in his gravel bike bag just because it's easy to take around. You will not love this anymore until you have to deal with gnats and bugs and flies biting at you when you're trying to fix a tire that's flat. You're already ticked off, and this thing just does a job. This thing's a godsend. Love this pump. All right, my friends, let's just wrap up this review real quick. We were checking out today the CYCPlus Pro and the CYCPlus Pro Max little electric portable pumps. I can't say enough good things about these pumps. In fact, again, the I can't say the name, the CYCPlus Pro Max stays in my bag. I use this, I don't even keep another pump in the bag at all. The only thing I keep in my bag now, I just want to be completely transparent, I do keep a CO2 in the bag just in case I totally blow a bead and I need that fast bang of air to snap the tire back on the bead. This doesn't have that kind of power. So again, you need to know how the thing works and what it can do. I always keep a CO2 just in case. But the other reason why I keep this one and not the smaller one is because I feel comfortable enough using this multiple times. And if I have to lend this to someone like my buddy Joe, while he was sitting there swatting flowers and I was like, right? So I was just like, I don't mind lending this out because the battery's gonna last. You got a bunch of cycles in this one. This is the pump that I use. Both of these are great. The displays are awesome. The only real difference is just the battery that's going to go in. For mountain biking, they both will handle the PSI you need. They're great. Okay, I'll have links in the description if you'd like to pick up any of these pumps. Obviously, they're affiliate links, so it helps me out a little bit if you use them. And that's it. If you have any questions, put them in the description or rather the comments below. Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, thanks so much for tuning in. Keep the party on the pedals, and I will see you in the next video. Later.